Hello there, my name is MrSmartDonkey. Welcome to a Elder Scrolls Legends deck guide slash overview. We're going to be having a look at the Reporting for Duty deck, as I have dubbed it, as a reference to a different card game that no one plays anymore, of course, because everyone's playing the Elder Scrolls Legends now. So this is a mid-range token spellsword deck made by a user called SkullCollector. I've not made this deck myself. I'm not a particularly good mastermind in the way of making decks, so I just net deck them straight off the interwebs. I will put a link in the description to the website that I use for my decks. You can find this one on there as well. I'll probably put a link straight to this one too. So this deck costs a whopping 8,650 soul gems, which actually isn't too expensive. It's fairly cheap. It's not quite budget, but it's fairly cheap. I will go over some cards that you could possibly take out to reduce the cost a little bit, replace them with other cards that are just as good, but just a little cheaper to add in. But first we will go over the actual deck. So, starting with the Deathless Draugr at 1 mana, just a good token minion. It's a 1-1 that summons another 1-1 when it dies. It makes sense to put it in a token deck. Same goes for the Scouting Patrol. I mean, obviously, most of the cards in here will make sense to put in a token deck, because otherwise you wouldn't put them in. But yeah, a 1-1 in each lane also makes sense. The Broom of Profiteer, another one of those cards that you put in because it gives you 1 health whenever you summon a minion. You're going to summon a lot of minions, so you're going to get a lot of health. 5th Legion Trainer, once again, whenever you summon a minion when this card is in play, give it a +1/+0, so an extra attack on each minion that you summon. You're going to be summoning a lot of minions, so there's going to be a lot of attack. The Windkeep Spellsword is just a good value minion, especially in the early game. It's a 2/2 with a ward, which means that it tends to trade 2 for 1, or at least can kill something off and then wound another minion. It will almost never trade less than a 1 for 1, unless it gets, well, even if it gets executed, for example, it's still the enemy still used in execute. Eastmarch Crusader, the only way of drawing cards in this deck, which of course draws a card if an enemy rune has already been destroyed in this game. Not too difficult of whatever to meet. I can't find the word, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, fairly easy. A 3 mana 4/2, not particularly amazing, but drawing a card is obviously quite strong. The Haunting Spirit, a very good minion, sticky minion. When it dies, well, not sticky necessarily, but when it dies, it has a great effect of giving another minion +3/+3, and you tend to have other minions on the board because of the token deck. Pit Lion, very easy as well to meet the requirements. That's the word I was looking for this minion. It can only be summoned if there's a friendly minion in each lane. A 3 mana 5/5, just an amazing card, but it is an epic. This is one of the cards that could possibly be replaced by something else that's also quite good. But I'll go over that in a minute. But yeah, this is another great card. Resolute Ally, a 3 mana 3/3 that gives other cards in this lane a +1/+1 if the top card of your deck is willpower, which is usually the case because as you can see there's a lot of willpower cards in this deck. There's a decent bit of endurance as well, but not too many. Speaking of more endurance, with the Young Mammoth, another just a good 3 mana 4/4 of Breakthrough. Not a particularly necessary card. There's other things you could put in here as well, but it's a rare, so it's not like you have to put something else in because it's too expensive. It's just that this card is okay, but it's not super amazing. Divine Fervor, this is a must-have for this deck. I mean, you can win without ever using Divine Fervor, but it makes the game so much easier if you have it. Every minion has a +1/+1 whenever this card is in play, and of course it usually tends to stay in play. Not many people are running cards that will get rid of support cards, so it's just an amazing card. Edict of Azura, just an easy way of destroying enemy support in case you come up against people that are also using Divine Fervor or something else, and also can just destroy a creature. Imperial Reinforcements, just a great 4 mana draw or play 4 1/1s in a lane. Well, usually, of course, you can also play less if you already have a minion in a lane, but it tends to be 4 mana for 1/1s, and if you've got a Divine Fervor in play, that means it's a 4 mana 8/8 essentially. You 4 minions 2/2. Pretty good. Midnight Sweep, I honestly thought this card was pretty bad until I played it in this deck. It's got Prophecy as well, which is absolutely amazing. The amount of times I've drawn this off Prophecy is amazing. You just play it, especially if you've got Divine Fervor once again in hand, or in play. It's essentially a 4 mana 6/6 or 2 3/3s. It's just a very strong card. It works so well in this deck. The Loyal Housecarl, another one of those cards that could possibly be replaced because it's quite expensive. Another card that I thought was quite poor when I first started playing. It's essentially a 5 mana 4/4, which is just terrible value, but it does give a minion guard as well, which is okay. But besides that, in a deck like this, in a token deck, it just works out quite well because again, it gets the buffs itself. It gives buffs to other minions. There's plenty of buffs to go around. Piercing Javelin, another one of those cards you can just use for a good removal. General Tullius, the only legendary in this deck. Once again, another card that can be fairly well replaced. I have yet to really win because of this card. It's a great card, but if you don't draw this card, it's not like you're not going to win or anything. It's a good card, but you don't need it for this deck. But yeah, just great value. It's essentially a 6 mana 6/6, but whenever a minion dies, General Tullius gains +1/+1. This guy will always eat some kind of removal. It always happens, but that's okay, because that means the enemy has less removal for other cards. And the Golden Saint, another one of those cards, you're almost always going to be ahead in health with this deck, because you just go face all the time, and that means you get a 2/4/4, one in each lane, which is also great. Plus, again, with all the buffs going on, it's absolutely amazing. So yeah, let's quickly go over the cards that can be replaced in case you don't have the the soul gems to craft them. So the Pit Lion is the first one. It's going to easily be replaced by Pack Wolf, which is a 3 mana 2/2 summon a 1/1 Young Wolf in the other lane. This is a common card, and it's a great card for token decks. A lot of token decks actually run this card instead of Pit Lion. This is just one of those cards that's very good, and you could even consider not going for the Pit Lions. This is an absolutely amazing card, but it's not necessarily better than the Pack Wolf and token decks, because these both gain value from extra buffing, whereas the Pit Lion is only just one single body, and usually eats some kind of removal. The General Tullius can be replaced quite easily with another Golden Saint, so just add another one of those because it's just a rare. It can also add in an Imperial Siege Engine, which is the 5 mana 3/3, which gains +1/+1 for each other friendly minion even, which is quite good. And the Legion Prefect as well. Legion Prefect 7 mana 4/4 that gives other friendly minions a +1/+1. Not one of those cards that's just good in token decks. And then the final card that I would consider replacing, the Loyal Housecarl, because it's also an epic. It's good, but it's not amazing. I mean, it's pretty good, but you can easily replace it with, for example, a Warcry, which is a fairly similar effect. Gives minions in one lane +2/+0 for this single turn, so it's a nice finisher. It's just a good way to deal some extra damage. So that's the deck. Let's jump into some games and showcase how good it really is. We found our first opponent, Krubu, or Krbu, or something along those lines. Rank 1. Alright. I'm gonna toss back the Golden Saint. I think I'm gonna keep the Broom Profiteer as well as the Young Mammoth. We go first, which means you don't get the Mana Potion. Playing against Willpower and Agility. And nothing to play on turn 1, which is unfortunate, but that is the way it happens sometimes. Opponent thinking about using mana? No, he doesn't. Alright, now we get the 1-drop. That's unfortunate, but I'm actually going to... I could consider playing the Scouting Patrol, because then it would probably allow me to use the Pit Lion next turn, but we can also use the Young Mammoth instead, so we're going to just go for that. I'm going to pop him in the Shadow Lane. I tend to like playing the first minion in the field lane, because it allows me to immediately have an answer for his minion, but in this case, because it's a minion I don't really want to have die, I'll put it in the Shadow Lane. Hopefully it survives, but in this case it doesn't. I'm going to play the Young Mammoth. I'm just going to play into this lane as well then. I could decide to keep him up and make him make the trade, but there's a chance that he won't and just goes face, but then I just get it with my Young Mammoth. You know what, yeah, I'll let him make the trade. There's always the chance that he does something annoying. He's playing Willpower as well, so he could possibly have... and that's a card, of course. Now, I could destroy that with the Edict of Azura, but I just don't think it's worth it. I'm just going to kill it. And we're going to play the Scouting Patrol in the Pit Lion. So that's just such an easy way to make the Pit Lion happen, essentially, is just play the Scout Patrol, and then boom, you can play a Pit Lion. So you can just generally play it. It's really good. So hoping to draw a Divine Fervor at some point. That would be magnificent.
The forest is my strength and my courage.
Alright, that's not too bad. Resolute Ally. I was going to play the Young Mammoth. Sadly, we don't have 2 plays we can make. So I'm going to play the Resolute Ally instead, because that will allow, if it procs, which it didn't, that's unfortunate. It would have allowed me to trade the 2/2 into 1/2, but sadly that's not the case. I'm going to hit him for some more damage, which will almost certainly mean that we have more health than him next turn, which means we can play the Golden Saint and get 2 4/4s, which is quite strong, of course.
We'll hold, no matter what.
We against... Oh, okay, so you didn't get the value on the Smart Crusader, which is quite good for us. You always want to be ahead on health against Archer specifically, or Agility specifically, I should say. Archer is actually red with green, because they have the Soros Marshal, which allows them to basically play their next card for 5 mana less, which means they just get a free Soros Marshal, which is a 4/4, which is fairly good. Alright, we got a good play for next turn as well, a Midnight Sweep and a Young Mammoth. So for now, we're just going to play this. And normally I'd go for the value and attack that, but I'm actually going to play, or kill his 4/2, because otherwise his 4/2 could just trade into my 4/4. I'm actually not going to attack, because it means I give him an extra card, and for the 1 damage, that's just not worth it right now. Really hope to draw into a Divine Fervor at some point, though. Just make my board state so much stronger. It's so hard for the opponents to catch up if you play that.
I do love a good fight.
They cannot hope to outwit me.
That's such a great card to gain back some health and get back in the game real quickly. Alright, so... I think I'm still going to go through with the plan. If I play the Midnight Sweep right now, though, it's just going to get taken down by one of his 3/3s, and I won't get any value. So I think instead I'll actually just play the 2 3/3s, which is going to be better. I could flood the right side of the board and just start hitting face. But I think I'm going to play the Haunting Spirit here, because it means I will definitely be able to kill it against one of his minions, which means I'll be able to get the value of the extra 3/3. I'll play the Young Mammoth on the other side, though. And I think I'm going to let him make the trades. I also should have hit face before I started putting my minions down. Small misplay, but not too big a deal. If he had drawn into a Prophecy, it could have been annoying. The most common Prophecy, I think, for Agility specifically, though, is generally the 1/2 with Lethal, the Fighters Guild recruits.
Move in shadow.
He's probably going to trade that as well. He's going to go face. If he goes face, I get to draw another card, which is quite good. Obviously.
The forest is my strength and my courage. Come dance with death.
He's not actually okay, that's good. Alright, there's the Imperial Reinforcements. Great combination. I think I'm actually going to play the other cards right now, though. I think I want to Edict of Azura 3/6. Yeah, and then we send that into his Deshaan Avenger, which means he actually gets to keep 3/3 on the board. But it means I get my value on this card, which means I can use any of these 3 to send them into the 3/3. Well, I mean, these 2 already survived, but anyway, and then I'll play the Midnight Sweep as well. Which actually isn't great. Actually, I might... No, I'll play the Imperial Reinforcements instead here. Which means I miss out on the value from the 5th Legion Trainer, but I can still get it on the Midnight Sweep. So that's alright. Alright, so we're going to do that. And then we're going to trade this one in. Alright, that's probably the best one to get it on. And... yeah, let's hit face before we do anything else. Alright, he's got a Prophecy. You can always tell because your play button becomes gray. Alright, another one of those. Unfortunate, but he still can't get past there. So I'll play the Imperial Reinforcements.
Your orders.
If we draw Divine Fervor, we're going to be in such great shape. But so far, no such luck yet. Oh, Manticora, that is a lovely card. Alright. Okay, well that's a good draw for us, of course. So we're going to kill that for sure. And I'm just going to go face again.
I hear and obey.
Now I've got the choice to either break this final rune with my extra 1 damage, or let him sit at 6. So is that 1 damage for me worth it? Am I close enough to killing him to break that final rune? Oh, unless he just quits. That works too.
This was a worthy contest.
All right, well that's 1 game. So let's jump into another one. Found a second opponent. Not quite sure what's up with these names. Rank 390, not bad. We just gained like 150 ranks from that just now. Not bad. Alright, I'm going to keep the 5th Legion Trainer. I could decide to keep the Midnight Sweep as well, but I'd rather draw it off of a Prophecy. So we're going to just send that back. That is a terrible hand. A 5th Legion Trainer is alright, but I'm not going to play it on turn 1 unless I get something else that I know I can play later. No, we'll just play that. But yeah, currently not a great hand, especially, I mean, the Golden Saint, we draw it early, which also means that we're less likely to be able to do enough damage to him. Also, he's playing a mage, which is a bad matchup. Probably the worst matchup for us is mage. I'm gonna play the 5th Legion Trader on the other hand, on the other side, other lane, so I can play the pit line next turn, hopefully, unless it dies, which is likely. He's probably gonna execute it or something along those lines. But we have to do something. We can't just sit here and not do anything. Yeah, that's the execute coming out, I think. No?
Looking to make a
With Shimmermere Peddler. Could still do it. Nope, he decided not to. Well, he probably just doesn't have it, otherwise he probably would have. Alright, we're going to play the Pit Lion. And I think we're just going to play it in the right lane, so we can answer his 2-2. I mean, technically, he's probably going to attack into our 1-3, and then we can attack it again with the 1-1 that remains. But there's a good chance he's going to be able to finish it off with a Firebolt or something like that. So I'm just going to play the Pit Lion.
You can't defeat me.
And of course it becomes a 6-5. Hopefully next turn we'll be able to hit him 4 or 6 or something along those lines, so our Eastmarch Crusader gets some value, so we can actually play something next turn. Otherwise we're starting to run out of cards really here to play currently. Golden Saint coming up though, we've got the mana as well, of course, or the Magicka I should say. I'm so used to a certain other game that I talked about before. Even though I haven't played Hearthstone for absolutely ever. There you go, the Fireball. Saw that coming. Now, I could decide to attack his face and then get the value on the Eastmarch Crusader. I'm kind of glad I drew the Pit Lion though, because I don't really want to do that. I think I want to kill off the Peddler. I want to make sure he doesn't draw too many cards. Especially if I actually hit him in the face, he's going to draw a card and then he might draw even more cards off the Shimmermere Peddler. So I'm going to attack him here. I'll just attack him for 1 more here. And then play the Pit Lion. I'm going to play the Pit Lion in the other lane. And then next turn there's a good chance we're going to be playing the Golden Saint. There's impossible for him, I think, to be able to get more health than me this turn and clear my minions off the board. There's a chance he'll clear one of them. Firestorm. I'll take that right now. I'll very gladly take that. There's the Divine Fervor, quite nice. So I'm actually going to not play that yet. Because I can play it next turn together with the Eastmarch Crusader. But yeah, I'm happy he did that, because it means that that he won't be able to use it later. And hit him for the face for 5. Now the question is, do I want to hit him for another 7? It means I break 2 more runes. I'm not quite sure if that's worth it. Yeah, let's just push in the damage, why not? No prophecies, that's good. And we're going to play the Golden Saint. Generally, Mage is a terrible matchup because, well, especially Control Mage. Control Mage just does so well. I think we got quite lucky early on as well that he didn't draw an Execute. If he had drawn the Execute, it means we wouldn't have been able to play the Pit Lion, and we would just fallen further and further behind. Ice Storm. That's a good card. It's not quite enough just yet, though. Alright, so I could decide to play the Brewing Profiteer and the Eastmarch Crusader. I think I'm just going to play the Brewing Profiteer together with the Divine Fervor. Since I'm not drawing any cards, I'm actually going to just play this first. Or, sorry, I'm not going to be getting any mana or health from this. I'm going to play this first. Oh, there's a Prophecy. It might actually be difficult here to push him down to the final bit of HP here.
There's always a plan.
We're running out of cards. I mean, we've got Lethal on the board, but there's no way this is both going to stay alive right now. We've got the Eastmarch Crusader to be able to draw another card, so that's good. There's another Ice Storm. And we are out of cards right now. Alright, there's the Young Mammoth coming out too, that's good.
We'll hold, no matter.
Alright, that's pretty good. Let's see. There's more control cards he's got that do damage. Well, he's got there's another Ice Storm in the deck possibly. Actually, usually only run 2. There's the card that kills like everything in a single lane. I'm not sure. I think it might be better to put him in both one in each lane. I'm not convinced, but I'm gonna go with that plan anyway. I could have also coined out or Magic'd out the Loyal Housecarl to put that on there, but I don't think that's worth it right now because that's essentially a 2-mana charge. Or sorry, a 2 damage charge. Alright. I could decide to kill his piercing javelin, but I think we're just going to keep up the pressure here.
By our service,
If we bring him down to 2 health, then I don't see how he's going to be able to deal with that. I'm going to put this here. Another prophecy though. Shouldn't have played the pit line yet. Poor play there. Although if he draws a piercing javelin, he's going to definitely be using it on the young mammoth, I imagine. Oh, or a lightning bolt. Alright, so he wants to make sure he can kill it next turn with the shocking Wamatarasu, or Wamasu even. I prefer Wamatarasu for some reason. Alright, he's on 2 HP. I don't think he's going to be able to pull back from this anymore, but you never know. He's got 9 mana. If he clears both my minions, I've got nothing right now. The piercing javelin means I'll be able to kill something. If he gets a 5/5 with taunt here, that won't save him. But he'll still have 2 mana left after that. 2 magicka left. I really got to get it out of my system. Doesn't look like he drew it though. Crushing blow. Oh, there you go. Alright.
A worthy contest.
Second win. Not too shabby. So let's jump into the third battle. We found our third opponent, H. Baki, who seems to be playing a similar deck, which is interesting. There's a good chance this might come down to who draws their Divine Fervors first. Got a pretty decent hand. I go second as well, which means I can play this on turn 1 and then one of the 2 on turn 2 and then turn 3. So that's I'm just going to keep that. I haven't drawn a whole lot of Divine Fervors yet so far, which is unfortunate. Scouting Patrol. I probably should. So I can keep my Elixir of Magickas. I could play this for a faster tempo, because it means I'll be able to use the Scouting Patrol later to heal. An extra 2, which means I'll probably get ahead on HP, but I'm just going to play it.
Your orders.
I got less value from them right now, but if I play the Broom Profiteer, there's a very good chance it's gonna die
Training is over. It's time
before he gets to do anything really anyway. Alright, so he's got a great card on the board already. I think I'm actually gonna play the Haunting Spirit here, so I can definitely kill that next turn. I can do the Broom Profiteer as well. But the turn afterwards, I could play the Resolute Ally. I don't know. This is fine as well, but I'm actually gonna put that out there. Be able to buff it up with the Resolute Ally as well next turn. Although probably won't be worth it actually, because it'll just only get one minion. Because he's most likely gonna kill that. Yeah, won't be worth it to do that. Young Mammoth coming out. Getting a 5/4. We got our own 5th Legion trainer. Which means that I'm actually going to have to probably lose some value here. Play the 5th Legion trainer into the Broomer Profiteer, which means it becomes a 4/2, which means it can kill his Young Mammoth. I'm gonna kill that, and I'm gonna hit face. And then we'll do that. It's not great, but we want to make sure we kill that off pretty quickly. We don't want him to get too far ahead in HP. There's a good chance he might, well, I don't know, he might trade it in himself because he's got the breakthrough anyway, so it means he's going to push some of the damage through regardless. But if he hits me in the face, I do get a card. Ooh, that's a great one. Now we got to hope our Resident Ally procs here. Alright, so yeah, he makes a pretty smart trade there, because that means I don't get to draw a card. Another Broomer Profiteer, which is good. I will actually place that here, and then Resolute Ally, which hits. Good. So I get to do that. He's probably going to use this 2/2 to kill my 5/1, but then I get to kill that. Possibly once again should have actually played cards first even. If I manage to get a Divine Fervor now, we're going to be in a pretty good state on the right side here. The Shadow Lane. He's gonna get the advantage here. If he has it right now, actually, that could be... actually, that wouldn't help him too much. One of my cards can still trade for his Mammoth, even if it gains an extra HP. If he clears this entire side, which is very likely, we'll be able to display the Imperial reinforcements, and he'll get an extra 1 damage, which is great. Ooh, nah. Yeah, that's the same thing. As we talked about, it doesn't help him too much in the Young Mammoth, because it still gets killed by one of my guys, but in general, obviously, it's quite good for him. Alright, so he does hit my face. General Tullius coming out, so we got a turn 5 play, and then we got a turn 6 play next turn as well, so that's good. Currently, my Imperial reinforcements all get killed, and his minions will all stay on 1 HP though. I'm not even sure if that's really worth it. There's not really a whole lot else I can do, except abandon this side of the board and play the pit line, but he's so far ahead in damage. Well, that's not entirely true.
You can't defeat us.
If I kill that... There'll all be 2-1s. Like, it's great value, except he just gets to kill them all for nothing, essentially. Alright, we get pretty good damage here. We're still gonna do it. I mean, I don't even have the option of playing the pit line anymore because I already killed off my 1 minion on the left side. I also get a whole bunch of HP back. We're not too bothered about that, really. It's good, but it also means I'm further away from drawing more cards, which is always the downside. I don't see him doing anything else but trading here, though, unless he wants to try and keep up in damage, but that would mean, obviously, that I get to push through another 8 damage next turn, which means that I'm actually on lethal. I currently have 16 damage on the board.
Chimera, guide us.
No, there's the Divine Fervor.
Awaiting orders.
Okay, so yeah, no lethal anymore, even if he does decide to go face. Plus, he's summoned a minion, which means he gained an extra 1 HP. He's going for the traits.
You won't foil my plan. Confound you!
I can kill off one of his minions, which will probably be the 5-2. For one, it's a better minion, 2, it's the Broomer Profiteer, which means it's good to kill that off. Right. I could play both the Eastmarch Crusader as well as the Pit Lion. Or I could just play General Tullius. He hasn't played any removal yet, so there's a good chance he's going to be able to. I also need to choose whether I want to gain extra HP. Or send this in first and then play the General Tullius on the right side lane, if I want to do that. Let's see, I mean, General Tullius summons an extra 2-2, which means it clears another one of these minions here. I think right now that's probably the better play. And I can always Eastmarch Crusader on the left lane next turn with the Pit Lion. So yeah, I'm probably going to do that.
I hear and obey.
I'm going to miss out on some HP, because I have to trade in the 4-2 first. I could decide to... I could trade these 2 in if I wanted to, but I also miss out on value for that. You know what? That might be better. No. Okay. It's unfortunate the way I have to do it right now.
All right, men. On me.
We wanna hit face. Oh, he drew a prophecy as well. That's not good. Let's see what that is. Probably the Colovian troopers. Oh no. Well, there's his removal.
You can't defeat me.
No question on whether he has it or not. He just got it from a prophecy, so that's unfortunate for us, but that is the way of the game sometimes. Still haven't drawn a Divine Fervor, which would be really useful right now. I think this matchup is very much determined by who draws their Divine Fervors first, or even more, depending on how many you draw. So far, it's 1-0 for him. We've still got 7 damage on the right side lane. He's obviously going to clear off the 3-2 on the left lane. It's unfortunate he drew that. On the other hand, even if we hadn't given him a prophecy, he would have still been able to play it this turn. Well, he had another one anyway. It would have slowed him down a lot because it would have cost him an extra 5 mana, which means he wouldn't have been able to kill the 3-2 right there. Okay, so he's actually not going to hit me. He wants to make sure... Oh, there we go. That's great. Okay, so we'll be able to kill his Divine Fervor off here, which is awesome. 7 damage. I think I'm still going to push that through first. I'm actually going to attack with that one first. In case he drops a minion here, we can hit it with the 3-2. Actually, no, we couldn't. Unless it was a guard, which it usually is.
You can't defeat me.
Alright, and then we're going to... I guess we should draw first, just in case. But I don't see what we could possibly... Oh, well. Maybe I should have drawn first after all. I would have been able to push through another 3 damage. Probably not too important. I'm going to kill that first. We'll play the Divine Fervor next turn. It'll be a nice surprise, extra 4 damage essentially, if he doesn't clear anything here. So now we're in a pretty good position all of a sudden. That changed very rapidly. We can't currently play our pit line, but I don't really want to play anything in the left lane anyway. Well, not a pit line, because it just gets killed by those cards. I want to get some more value. I'd rather he hit my face so I can draw more cards. But since he didn't want to hit me last turn, there's a good chance he won't want to hit me right now either. Ah, well, good thing I didn't play the Divine Fervor, because that means he would have killed it probably otherwise. That won't help him. I think we, yeah, we've almost certainly got him here.
A fine battle.
Not necessarily. Is there any reason to Divine Fervor first? Yeah, I mean, we push through more damage. Yeah, there is probably. Because that means we get to push through
Kill them all.
4 damage and then 2. Okay, well, we got him anyway. In case he dropped a Prophecy, we could have... But it doesn't matter. We got him regardless. So that's the third game. That was a good matchup. A mirror match, which is always fun. So yeah, that was the 3 matches. That will do it for this Elder Scrolls Legends deck overview / guide sort of video on the Reporting for Duty deck. Really awesome deck. I really like this deck. It's just it's just good. It's nice to go through the ranks with as well, because they usually are fairly short games. Control decks taking they take a lot more time each game. You want, obviously, when you go through the ranks, you want to go fast. And this works quite well, and as you can see, it still works quite well in Legend as well. I mean, I'm not in the highest tiers of Legend yet, but it still does well. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Please let me know. Leave me a comment or a like or subscribe or whatever you want to do. Until next time, have a good day and goodbye.